He has a 1-1 count. That one's struck high. Left side. That one's going. That's out of here. Off the race. You have to be kidding me. Fireworks. And here you go.
And welcome one, welcome all. Inside, well, high and tight, the flagship show, part of the IA Baseball Network and really IA Sports in general. Hopefully you're having a good day out there. It is off-season edition. Another episode rolls along. And if you're new to this show, it is all about baseball in Iowa. From the high school to the college ranks to the pros. We dive into everything from Iowa baseball to club baseball in Iowa. Plus, we've gotten the chance to talk with some big names in the industry, including movie names. David and Mickey Evans in our conversation about the creation of the Sandlot movie. We got that will be reposted up here shortly as well, and just a lot of fun with that. We've talked to coaches, players, athletic directors, and more. And we're all across the state when it comes to baseball, and we really hope that you get the chance to just have some fun with us. Because honestly, we get to do this, and we love what we do. So, speaking about loving what we do, this is going to be a very cool episode as we get the chance to talk with about a new program, really a new program, and the guy who's going to spearhead those efforts here, and we'll chat that here up in just a bit. But first off, I also gotta say that. If you get the chance, please like, subscribe, join IA Sports on YouTube. That's where throughout the season, really all of our content, a lot of our content, I should say, broadcast-wise will be there. Also, check us out on Rockfin. That's ROKFIN.com/IA Baseball. I'll make sure to get that up here. Again, that's ROKFIN.com/IA Baseball. I'm putting that right up there here for you. Again, rockfin.com/IA Baseball. That's where some of the exclusive content is and where subscribers can go first and get all the content before anybody else does. So make sure to go there, check that out, and when you get the chance, you'll be able to see a lot of stuff. And that's not just IA Baseball. It's IA Football, Wrestle, all that stuff. So go there, check that out. This is just the IA Baseball link, but we are there all over. So please go ahead and catch up with that and just, again, have some fun with it. And again, what I want to do here, ladies and gentlemen, is dive into right now. We're going to dive into a conversation about a guy who is really kind of blazing at a new trail here. That's right. So we have a new program coming about. Northeast Iowa Community College is getting underway. It is starting up. It is going, and everything's new. Everything's brand new, rock and rolling here, and we get the chance. Obviously, this is the baseball side of things. So where do you think we're going to go? We're going to go baseball here, and we get the chance to talk with the inaugural coach for the NICC baseball program. Again, that's Northeast Iowa Community College baseball program, the Cougars, and their head coach, Connor Klostermann, is joining us here, and we'll get him here on the Insulites.com hotline here in just a bit. But we are going to, by the way, if you have any other questions, hit us up at iabaseball1@gmail.com. Again, iabaseball1@gmail.com. We'll go ahead and put that up here. Thought I had a graphic up for that, but yeah, I do right here. Anyway, I go ahead and hit up iabaseball1@gmail.com. And if there's any questions that you think didn't quite get answered in this interview, I guarantee you, Coach might just get annoyed about how many times I contact him throughout the course of a year. We'll check on how easily that will actually pan through. But I'll have more conversations with him, and I can't wait to get that. But first, let's get going with the inaugural. That's right, the very first interview with Coach Klostermann here on the Insights.com hotline. And Coach, thanks again for taking the time here. Really appreciate it because even though we sit in the off season, I have come to know that when you're a head coach at the collegiate level, it's never an off season. It's like you're busy, your extended busy season, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and certainly, yeah, with our new program rocking and rolling here, certainly hitting the ground running with recruiting the last week, and like you said, there is no off season in college baseball, so we are, yeah, we're getting after it for sure.
Oh man, and you know what? It really is. It really is. I mean, the fact that in today's day and age and world, something can get off the ground, it means something's going right. Things are going well, and obviously, sticking coming back into the Iowa realm for you, which we'll get to, is really really cool. I mean, talent. We love to have great talent from playing to coaching back in the state, and we get that with you. Let's dive into questions here, Coach. First off. This is, like we said, a program from scratch. It's from the ground up. Now, a lot of us, a lot of times I talk with coaches with programs that have already been there, right, for years and years and years. What are the differences that you say in your position right now as coach? What's the differences that you go with a program that's building from the ground up as opposed to a program that's already been there? I mean, are there different challenges, or what do you see as kind of the differences in the position you're at right now as compared to a more established program?
Yeah, I think there's certainly some similarities, but there's also an obvious amount of differences as well. I think first and foremost, building the awareness of our program is certainly a piece that we are going to channel in here in the next coming months and over the next school year. Definitely, that's a piece that we want to continue to bring notoriety, awareness, and help people understand our vision of our program and what we're looking to overall achieve over the course of the next 3 to 5 years and beyond at NICC. So certainly, helping people understand that vision, and we don't have any history, good or bad, in the program. So certainly, it's all about the future and what we're going to be able to do. So I would say those are kind of the fair amount of differences between me building and this program as opposed to leading a more established program in that piece.
So, with that, kind of an extension on that, how do you navigate creating a program successfully from the ground up in your eyes? I mean, it there's got to be a little bit more to it. So, how do you navigate that right now, or what kind of the steps are you taking right now?
Yeah, I think first you got to have the willingness to work, and obviously patience within the process as well.
Yeah, yeah.
There's certainly a lot of pieces that we have to get put in place. One being the obvious one, getting a roster put together,
Hmm.
but also some of the other things with gear and equipment and uniforms, and we don't have any of that. So really building up all those things and being patient in that process, and just knowing that we're going to get to that finish line by next fall. It's just going to be a little bit of a process here. And from a facility standpoint, getting those developed from a weight room to an on-campus development / training area as well, to allow our guys to be able to develop during the winter months when we're unable to continue to go outside. And then overall, right, just helping them, develop and we don't have a track record of that, right? We don't have a track record of developing guys and a list of, these are the 4-year schools we've helped guys move on to. So helping them understand that, for me, having an experience at the 4-year level for the last 5 years as an assistant coach, I've made a lot of connections, and I'm going to be very useful in helping facilitate that process. And overall, for our recruits and people that are interested in the program, just trusting the vision and trusting what we're going to put together, because it's going to be a really good product once we get it, where we want it to be. But it's just going to take, work and some time to get the pieces put in place that we want to.
Yeah, man, and certainly the best things come with time. Good things come to those who wait. Even though, Coach, I'll admit it, I'm already wanting baseball to start now, and I know we're like, hey, pump the brakes, we got stuff to do. But for me as the fan, other fans, I know we're ready, I know we're gearing it, but what also really makes it exciting for me is that you are an Iowa guy. I mean, from from Dyersville, Beckman. You've been there, done that in Iowa. Of course, time with Upper Iowa as well. I mean, you've been in Iowa. So now that you got the chance to kind of come back in it, I mean, Iowa is. I mean, I'm not saying that Iowa is this unworldly, unique place where only Iowans know how to operate in it. But there are little quirks, right? There are different things in there. The competition here geographically kind of helps, right? So, how much do your Iowa ties do you feel will play into this? I mean, you talk about recruiting, you talk about kind of your experiences and your connections, but man, you're an Iowa guy. You've played here. You've done that. How much do you feel the Iowa ties will play into your role here as coach?
Yeah, I think they'll largely play into our ability to get this thing going sooner rather than later. As you just alluded to, I know the area very well and understand the talent in the area, understand the amount of great talent that's in the state overall, and that's my goal, right? Is to build this thing with Iowa players and get a bunch of great kids from our state that are going to be good teammates and have good character and be good students, but also good baseball players that are going to help us win a lot of games as well. And I think for me, being a younger guy, I can relate to their backgrounds, and I'm not too far removed from being in the positions that they're in right now. So being able to utilize, my small town Iowa history to help relate with those guys and build that continuity and relationships and all those things are going to be really important for sure in the first couple of years as we get this thing off the ground, to build those relationships and connections with players to establish that for our consistency moving forward.
Yeah, and as a side note to that, uh, again, the fact that you've played all over. I mean, you went, I believe, JUCO route, if I'm not mistaken, and
Yep.
it's going the JUCO route, then going to Upper Iowa. I mean, you've seen the different things. Of course, in high school baseball in Iowa, we play in the summer, so and that's got to be something too, because going back to even when I was in high school, man, I loved it when I could see coaches that I knew there, the coaches that I knew at the games that I saw that were Iowa guys who knew the schedule and weren't scared about high school ball playing in the summer. I know that this is kind of a little jaunt here from what we're doing with the questions, but what are your thoughts just on baseball, high school baseball in the summer? I mean, as now as a coach and now the head coach leading the program in the state of Iowa, how do you feel that'll play out for you? I mean, what do you feel on that? Being a former player, going through the JUCO route and others, you've seen the whole spectrum. What are your thoughts on high school ball for Iowa in the summer?
Yeah, I'm certainly biased. I'm sure, as a lot of us from Iowa are, that summer high school baseball is the way to go, in my
Yeah,
opinion. I just think it lends to a different overall experience for the high school athletes and be able to represent your school and have good weather and a full season to do your thing. I think there's some different things in there that make it more enjoyable during the summer.
yeah,
Some other states obviously play, Legion baseball with their communities and different things during the summer, but there's just something that's different. And I've had the opportunity to, go around to various state tournaments and recruit in various areas in the Midwest. And, there's nothing that can really match what Iowa puts together in their baseball season. It's just, it really is unmatched, and it's just an awesome environment that our high school kids in the state get to play in, and it's a good experience.
yeah. No doubt. I think it again. We're both biased here, but man, does it go well? And you don't have to fight with the schedule. I mean, you get to do your stuff, and then at the end of the day, during the high school season, man, it seems kind of cool. And again, it's we see that, and I know you'll be all around, and I know, Coach, you and I will bump into each other quite a bit because going around the state, which I know you will, we'll find it. We'll connect with each other quite a bit. But now, one of the things I did want to get to here is I'm always intrigued on coaching styles, right? Because I've always, for me, Coach, I've made a, I've just I didn't just become a dad. You know, my oldest is 6, but I always thought when I was a dad, before I was a dad, I'm going to be this militaristic guy. They're going to do everything I want when I want, and it's going to be like a well-oiled machine. And I quickly learned that adaptability is a huge thing here. But I know that it's not the same. But with coaching, there's a lot of things, a lot of balls in the air, so to speak, and it really there's a lot of things to manage as well as then manage what's on the field. So, I mean, with that, what would you say is kind of your coaching style? Do you have more of a defensive minded, offensive minded, or do you think like more a holistic approach? Where would you say your coaching style sits?
Yeah, I think great question. Certainly, I try to lean on the more holistic approach. And
Mm-hmm.
again, for me being a hitter and having a hitting background, I certainly enjoy the offensive piece of it and
Yeah.
scoring runs. And pitchers are the worst, and I think changeups should be illegal. I love the offensive piece. But I also know that you're not going to be a championship team if you can't execute in all 4 phases, right? And that's on the
Mm-hmm.
mound, that's offensively, that's playing good defense, and that's executing well from a base running standpoint as well. So, I think on the mound, you got to be able to throw multiple pitches for strikes, especially at the college level. There's certainly a velocity benchmark you got to be at, and you got to be able to spin it and keep guys off balance and attack the zone. And then offensively, have to be able to stick to a really good approach and be able to be flexible and make adjustments at bat to at bat and game to game, and be your own best hitting coach. And certainly, like I said, that's my passion, and I love working with hitters, and that mental warfare between the hitter and the pitcher, I think, is one of the best parts about the game. And so one
Yeah.
of my favorite parts. And then defensively, right, making the plays,
Mm-hmm.
executing the fundamentals and doing that. And then base running wise, right, just being smart and doing what you need to do from that standpoint too. So you got to be, if you want to be a good program, you got to be able to do all those things at a high level.
And gosh, I'm with you there. If only they could just stick to fastballs down the middle. I could tee off of that any day. Of course, I'm not nearly as skilled as you are here, coach, or a lot of those going into the college realm. But I agree with you, and with that as well too. I always find it. Everybody has their path to get there, and I love the fact that that you've been a consistent hitter. Done that. Um, how much are you accepting, or I guess embracing the challenge when it comes to the pitching side of things? I know that you have that the staff, it's it's more than you, it's the entire staff, from pitching coach and beyond, all that. But how much do you embrace finally going, not going to the dark side here, or the light side, however anyone wants to view it? But how are you embracing the challenge of also taking on the pitching side of things?
Right. Yeah. I think ultimately, especially in college baseball, regardless of level, your pitching staff is the backbone of your team.
Hmm.
If you can't put up zeros and execute on that side of the ball, you could have the best offense in the country, but it's going to be tough to win games consistently if you can't get outs on the other side. So definitely looking for guys that will fit that mold, and be guys that attack the zone and have that competitive drive, and want to go get outs, and aren't afraid to compete. And obviously, we're joining a very good league, the likes of Iowa Central, Southeastern, DMAC, Kirkwood, etc. There's no free wins in our league, so it's going to be a tall task from day one, and we understand that and we embrace that, and it's going to be fun once we're able to get into it. But certainly, it's going to start on the mound with our ability to compete there for sure.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, Connor Klosterman, head coach of NICC Baseball. The Cougars will be coming your way soon, and we get the chance before all that happens to chat with him right here and right now. Again, just got onto the job not too long ago, officially, as he keeps rolling. And again, this interview helped brought to you in part by the great folks at Hitting Approach. Check them out, ladies and gentlemen, at hittingapproach.com. The cost-effective app that you can use, and really, it's simple. Go on there, pick place onto almost any type of equipment out there, and it's really that simple. It can go onto any type of device, and you get charts, spreadsheets, graphs, and more right after the game. And you can use that in double headers. I don't know if there's triple headers, but you could use it there too if that ever happened to be a thing. But again, ladies and gentlemen, check them out today, hittingapproach.com, made by coaches for coaches and players. So with that as well here, diving into it, you talk about the teams that you, Coach, will be going up against. I mean, the gauntlet is already there. Not let alone outside the conference, let alone outside your main group of guys that you're going to play. A lot going on there. But, man, I got to say, it seems to me like JUCO ball is in a great state right now. And I wanted to get your take on that. Again, you've been there, you've played it, and now you have the whole spectrum playing and coaching with it. What is your take on the recruiting landscape and, or I guess JUCO in general right now as opposed to maybe 10, 15 years ago? Because, gosh, it seems like it's in such a good state right now. You get guys planning to go the JUCO route right now. It's a desired thing, it seems like right now. What is your take on, again, the recruiting landscape and JUCO overall right now as compared to, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago?
Sure. Yeah, I think it certainly continues to be a great level for guys to develop their game, right? And I think you get that opportunity to not break the bank when you're going to school. A lot of the junior colleges have affordable tuition, and I think that's important for families and recruits as well to evaluate that in the process too. And then particularly for our program, the chance to get playing time early in your college career, certainly with a brand new program, is going to be readily available to have those opportunities to play as a freshman. So I think that with all those things, it continues just to be a more I think over the course of the last 10 or 15 years, it certainly has gained popularity in terms of being a great option for guys to be able to do all those things. And I think the age of social media and showcases and all those different things have certainly increased the notoriety, because I think junior colleges can promote their players better than they've ever been able to before, with all the various outlets that we're able to put guys on and get guys the exposure that they need to transfer to those four-year schools. So certainly the recruiting landscape, as you said, is in a good place, and junior college is a very strong level of college baseball without question.
Yeah, and it's always fun to watch. The future stars of the next level, the D1 level or beyond, starting with JUCO, really, really cool. But now what I want to dive into here is dive into you here, Coach, a little bit here with the fact that, becoming a coach, I mean, you've mentioned it before. It's kind of been a drive for you, a passion for you. When you look back at it, what do you pinpoint as kind of the biggest driver to want to become a coach? Because it's tough to do so, to get recognition, to say, hey, this guy we want to lead our program is pretty substantial. You got to have a lot, which you do, Coach, and you've done a lot to get to this point. But for those who are kind of wanting to kind of go the route, obviously playing isn't the only thing. You've done there, and now you're doing both, right? You've played, and now you're coaching. What was your biggest driver to become a coach, and how did you know that was going to be the big passion for you?
Yeah, I think as a young player, obviously fell in love with the game and just always had the passion for the game. And as I progressed through high school and got into the kind of the recruiting process, I think as I got into college, kind of realized that this is something that I could really see myself doing for the rest of my life, and certainly trying to envision in a life where baseball is not a big part of it was tough for me to kind of wrap my mind around. So definitely wanted to be within the game in some magnitude, and I think for me, like anyone that enjoys coaching, I think this is the end goal, right? To be a head coach of a college baseball program, and certainly that's an incredibly challenging thing to do, and there's not a lot of opportunities to do that over the course of the years when jobs come available. There's just not a lot of opportunity to be a head coach. So this is an opportunity that I take very seriously, and one that I'm been working towards for most of my coaching career. And I think for this opportunity specifically, with the opportunity to be so close to home and back with family, it kind of made it a no-brainer to entertain the idea. And, certainly for me, I'm not interested in kind of the personal accolades that come along with being, a head coach, good or bad. I just want to see our guys have a great experience and have that ability to move on and have, continued great experiences in the game as well. So definitely a lot of different influences that are motivating me and that drive me to want to do as well as I can with this head coaching opportunity.
And of course, Coach, and again, everybody here, Connor Klostermann joining us here, the new coach. I wouldn't say new, the first coach. I mean, technically new because you're, but you get it. You are the coach. You are the man leading this program here. But I do want to say as well here, you've had the chance, like you've already mentioned, you've been a coach, or you've been an assistant coach. Again, out of state. I'll forgive you on that here, Coach. Don't worry, you're back in. It's all good. But I want to get your take through some of the early times of you coaching. What were some of the takeaways? Because man, you talk about the experiences, and gosh, I know that there can only be a ton that come to mind, and I know that there's maybe too much to talk about. But in the end, take me through some of your early times coaching. How did those shape you into the decisions you're making and just the philosophy that you have?
Yeah, I think something that stood out to me, certainly in my early coaching career, is like knowledge of the game is just a prerequisite to being
Yeah.
a good coach, right? Like
Oh,
I think a lot of people have really good knowledge of baseball. I think the most important part of being an effective coach or leader is being able to connect, being able to build relationships, being able to have conversations with players that are sometimes challenging, that are sometimes not challenging, all those things in between. So I think that was a big learning moment for me early in my career, is that, I obviously I'm going to know a decent amount about baseball,
yeah.
being in this position, but that's not all that I need to be an effective leader and effective head coach. And certainly I kind of carried that with me through the course of my different experiences, from coaching at Beckman, to getting a graduate assistant opportunity at Northern, to eventually being the lead assistant at Northern. Is it's primarily just about building relationships and connecting with your players, because if you have the ability to do that, then that's when you can really make a large difference on not only their playing career but also their lives as well. So that was certainly a lesson that I learned early on that's kind of stuck with me throughout the years that I've had the opportunity to coach.
And again, you've kind of blazed your own trail ever since you got the chance, and that includes wherever you've been, and obviously now blazing your own trail as the inaugural coach, and hopefully for a long time we'll call you coach here at NICC. But I do want to get your take on the fact that you've hit the coaching ranks right away, right? I mean, you got there. You said that's your passion. You want to go for that, and sometimes sometimes you've gotten there and you haven't been too much older than the players there. And I say that because it speaks volumes when a coach can say, I want you as my assistant, because it does speak volumes of where your head's at. How confident does one have to be to command the respect of players like that? And I'm not trying to say it in a negative fashion, but when you got guys, I know in high school you get guys coming home for the summer and coaching out there, and they're not much older than say some of the seniors. You can get a little bit maybe headbutting. I know this is college, so it's not the same drama there, here, coach. But what's that kind of like? What do you have to do to kind of command that respect while still kind of being relatable to them? I mean, what fine line do you dance there, and how do you navigate that?
Yeah, I think that was certainly a challenge early, when I got my first varsity assistant job with Beckman. I was 19 years old, coaching third for them, and there were some kids on the team that I was good friends with, that I played with in high school. Like you said, that weren't much younger than me. So that was kind of a good summer for me to understand, just creating that separation between the coach and player relationship. Like, obviously I care for them, I want the best for them, I'm going to build that relationship and connection, but having that fine line that they respect the message coming from the coaching staff, regardless if I'm just as old as they are or 40 years older than them. It doesn't really matter. The coach is somebody that should earn respect from the players, and certainly I hope that during that experience that I was able to do that. And then turned around as a grad assistant at Northern and was kind of in the same situation, coaching
Mm-hmm.
a lot of guys now at the college level who are obviously in a little different place from mental headspace than maybe some high school guys are when they're later in their college career. But certainly it took some time as well, because as a new guy, like, for college guys, that you want to see, like, how's this guy going to be able to help me, and how can he prove that he's going to be a valuable asset to our team. So certainly, walking into that situation kind of in a more of a learning environment for me, in terms of just trying to, again, don't want to be a broken record, but trying to build those relationships and make sure that the guys understand that I do have their best interests in mind, and that I'll do whatever it takes to make them a better player. And so it just, with a lot of those things, it just takes time, and it just takes time to build those relationships and connections. And certainly when you're, as of, the same age, or maybe around the same age as some of your players, it just takes a little bit longer and a little bit more probably maturity than maybe I was ready for at the age of 19 to dive into that. But once you're in that situation, you just adapt and you figure it out.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And you've done a good job of that, obviously, getting to where you are here, leading the program at NICC, and I can't wait to see what the first looks might be. I'd love to see the whole uni reveal, all that stuff. I can't wait for that. That's going to be good here. But of course, one thing that I love to see here is, from one person to another, I want to talk about being a dad in the game of baseball. You are a dad, and obviously the head coach here. I want to say, first off, congrats here.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
you
that.
know, being a dad is something else, and you're doing it while battling a lot of things. You're going back and forth here, and of course, as bring up it's hasn't been too long since you've been removed from birth here, but I do want to say, first off, again, congrats, and then going through this, what are your thoughts here? I mean, take me back to when you were growing up and what your dad meant to you throughout the game. And I know relationships are different. Sometimes some children may not go into the game where their dad is coaching, but I do want to get your thoughts here on just how important being your dad meant to you, and how that's kind of shaped you and to where you are now.
Yeah, certainly, and I appreciate the congratulations. And
Yeah.
yeah, our daughter's 10 months old and doing great, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I think we talked earlier about kind of my developing love of the game. I think that really started with my dad, and doing a lot of nights in the garage doing tea work, and always working at our game, and during the summers, and even really all year round. We would find a cage and wherever it needed to be, or even if we were on vacation, we'd drive to a local field and find a spot to go play catch. And so certainly I think my dad being involved with a lot of my teams growing up, whether it was baseball, basketball, football, you name it, he was always one of our coaches. And certainly, that development of my love of the game certainly happened with those youth workouts with my dad and my brother, and working on our game, and also just bonding over a terrific sport that we all
Mm-hmm.
love. So I think certainly developed my love of the game, and then hopefully, as our daughter gets older, and potentially future children, I can be that same kind of ambassador for sports that I think allow for a lot of life lessons through sports, and a lot of great opportunities. So hopefully I can be that same ambassador for my children as my dad was for me.
Oh man, I know you will. Certainly, love to say, hey, take the time for sure. It's all going to be worth it. I know that the sleepless nights will be done at some point. I
Yeah.
can only imagine how you've
Just
gone
let
through
me know
that.
when they will. If you know that answer, just let me know.
I'm with you there too, man. I need that fast forward button here, Coach. I need that fast forward about a year and a
Yeah.
half. I think that's
Yep.
the sweet spot. They finally start sleeping, but again, man, everybody, Coach Connor Klostermann joining us right here as we start to wrap things up here, man. The new and inaugural coach for the Cougars, who are just starting out there, getting ready to take the stage here soon, and man, it's going to be a fun one here, Coach. And again. Love your pedigree, love where you've come from, love the fact that you're there, and I love the fact that you've come from Beckman and you talk about being a coach there. Last thing I want to get here to kind of end off on an Iowa high school note here is what was it like to be part of? I mean, just that coaching staff in general. I mean, does it matter? It seems like no matter where you go, from Coach Mabe now to others in the past, Coach Jank obviously being a big note on that. What's it been like to go through that program and kind of get guys who have forgotten more about the game than you currently know? I mean, what's it been like, and how has that helped to kind of shape you as well? And what was that like as a player to grow up through that?
Yeah, I think one of your earlier questions you talked about, the motivations of getting into this profession. I think a lot of that started with how great of an experience I had playing for Coach Jank at Beckman. Just the world's best motivator, the best players coach that you could have ever asked for. A guy that certainly believed in you every step of the way, and certainly a lot of those lessons that and coaching philosophies that I was able to witness from him, I certainly hope to cast onto my players over the course of my career as well. So,
Mhm.
yeah, Beckman is just a special place from a baseball perspective, and certainly positioned, nearby to us, where Dubuque County in general has just a strong baseball culture, and
Yeah.
a piece that we certainly plan to sell to our recruits as we go through the process. Is you're coming to a community that really cares about the game, and is we're going to have a good following, I anticipate, and we're going to have people that are very, very invested in our team and want to see us do well. So I certainly think that that's going to be a piece. But yeah, Beckman is a wonderful place. A lot of great people. Coach Martin, Fred Martin, who took over for Coach Jank after he was sick and passed away, certainly did a great job of continuing the tradition. And now Coach Ryan Mabe is also doing that with a recent state championship as well. So yeah, my Beckman bloodlines run deep, and I love that program, and I'm excited to be back in the area to be able to check them out a little more often this summer.
Well, hey, I can't wait to catch up with you in person as well. I know we'll see you all around. You know the area obviously very well, and so we can't wait to catch up with you. But would love to catch some games as well here, Coach. Would love to catch all of that. I know they'll be there soon. And ladies and gentlemen, if you got to check it out, great opportunity. Blaze your own trail with a guy who knows how to blaze his. So check out today and get there, get recruited, all that. And Coach, I want to say thank you for your time, man. I know that we're sitting here right now, and heck, you're probably going into at the very least dad duty, and that takes a lot, and on top of everything. So I don't envy what you have to go through here, but really appreciate it here, and I know you'll be busy, and we'll see you all over. So thanks for your time.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me on, and certainly thank you for all you do for Iowa baseball, and I'm excited to be on the show. Hopefully another time or two,
Oh,
and get to see you around the recruiting trails. Absolutely.
oh yeah, I think you might get a little sick of me here, Coach. But we'll keep it even for right now. Keep it 100, and hopefully down the line we'll have many more conversations here. But again, thank you very much for taking the time here. And ladies and gentlemen, NICC, the guy, the man, the myth, the legend right here, helping to lead that program here. Well, Coach, thanks again. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out everything they've got going on there at NICC. The Cougars, great logo, by the way. Absolutely love it. But want to say thanks to all of you out there for tuning in. Check out the Cougars and more. And until we see each other next time, Stay safe on the base pass. Thanks again, guys.